Hi, my name is Valerie Stevens, and welcome to the Distance Learning Conference. Today, I'd like to take you on a journey in distance learning where you will learn what the impact of using video, technology, and gaming paired with a specific traditional teaching style can enhance the learning process for children. You see, there is an education problem or need with traditional pedagogy styles for teaching, and they're not meeting the challenges required to instruct diverse students in terms of ethnic group and culture. These children especially need instruction in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math, the STEM core requirements. This is a vision presented by the United States Department of Education. Video games have a very strong motivation pull and are addictive such that the player does not desire to quit unless they have won the game. Rigby and Polisowski describe what they call a hero learning paradigm. Their research suggests that autonomy, competitiveness, and related satisfaction motivates the player to learn to play. Now, if such motivation pull is highly active in video games, why not infuse a mathematical education component to stimulate the learning process? In this learning environment, the learning hero would have to master the mathematical component, which is multiplication, in order to reach the next level or to completely win the game. Now, the actual teaching model is the Orion model. That would be integrated as a tool to embrace a lecture. The child would learn the concepts and then engage into the video game. Afterwards, they would proceed in discussing the scenario. I would not use the video game as a teaching strategy alone. Now, the research questions are, can the integration of video game technology increase the motivation levels in children with diverse cultures and backgrounds to become math literate? Or can the Orion teaching model concerning pedagogy styles assist to improve math skills? You see, the Orion teaching model uses a teaching style where a structured lesson plan is taught first, followed by an applied activity, such as a video game. The applied activity discussed in this can be a collaboration over distance with the student, with several students, or with the student and instructor. The presentation is generally in a 3D format as far as the game, and the name of the game is called Times the Attack. Now, the presentation outline that I will provide for you concerns current and basic research in gaming, teaching style. I'll define the methodology and distance learning principles, and finally a SWOT analysis will be provided. In concerning the basic and current research, John Dewey suggested that the instructor should enhance the learning environment and facilitate the process using appropriate tools. Education should be based on a philosophy of qualitative experience, and the term education should be defined in that context. He says that education should not only be based on external factors, but should embrace the needs of the individuals and diversify the learning experience. If the video game is used as a tool coupled with a specific pedagogy style, such as the Orion teaching model, the entire learning of math process could be enhanced. Mastery of multiplication would be fun, engaging, and completely interesting. The idea of learning using video technology should be diffused in everyday curriculum activities, according to Greenhouse. Ferrara stated gaming should enhance educational outcomes, both in business and in education, on 7 dimensions. The dimensions are realism, accessibility, compatibility, simple to use, decision to support, and of course, communication. The authors researched the impact of gaming over a 40-year period. Glover et al. Studied demonstrated that the style and the use of certain technologies has to blend in order to impact educational experiences. In other words, you just can't pick and choose this technology to be married with that particular teaching style, and it should be tested over time. Wallen conducted a 3-year study to determine that children are early adopters of technology because they are willing to play with and to discover new medias. For example, you will see in my PowerPoint slides several instances of children playing Time Z Attack, which is the multiplication video game that provides both collaboration with other children as well as collaboration with the instructor over a distance of geography. Bondage et al. Conducted a study to improve the math skills of middle school students. They used 2 types of style of curriculum: formal, or called enhanced authored instruction, which is presented in a multimedia format, and then just basic instruction, which is a traditional business as usual model. Now, their findings suggest that technology education teachers can make important contributions in helping students develop their ethical and critical thinking skills, as analysis of this research reveals that improvements in teaching and curriculum styles improve with math performance in middle school children. However, the type of technology, again, diffused in a lesson plan, could also make a difference in math performance. Therefore, there is a gap in the current literature. Now, the next 2 research studies conducted on this topic are interesting in the teaching of specific teaching styles and an assessment tool for measuring the literacy outcomes. Vasconcelos et al. Did a study to validate the Orion teaching model strategy. The application was a field trip where they were studying geography in a lecture format, and then they actually did a field trip in a cave in Venezuela, followed by a discussion. And what they learned, they described as part of the field trip activity. This qualitative study collected interviews and observations from the students as the literacy acquisition tool. The application of the Orion model in field trip situations was discussed and was well received. Hallfield et al. Developed and piloted a literacy assessment tool, also because it was quite different and measured technology mechanically. The Hallfield method used a mixed method design, where in contrast to the Vasconcelos study, they used a qualitative design. Rigby and Priklasowski explored the nature of self-determination theory as a quality that enables people to stay engaged and continuing gaming. Video games provide sustained challenges and quick feedback to the player. Therefore, video games bring out a person's self-determination to succeed and become very motivated to win or beat the game. The authors researched the game concept relationship to the self-determination and to the virtual environment for education. The author's theory is that the self-determination theory can explain qualities that produce long-term engagement in games and how these same qualities can guide the development of new learning curriculum. The author suggests that additional research should be conducted to enable the development of a learning environment using video gaming as a tool. What I would like to do as a methodology is that the null hypothesis is that there is no difference in the math performance of children on a multiplication post-test. The alternative hypothesis is that the children exposed to both math, lecture, video gaming to supplement the multiplication lesson would perform very well. And of course, the independent variable will be the exposure to the math video game in itself, with other children, as I said before, over distance, as well as with the instructor. The dependent variable will be the measurements of math proficiency, both in terms of the pre-test and the post-test between the 2 groups. There are new mathematical video games which are available to be infused in lesson plans and multiplication. They're called Time Z Attack by a company called Big Brain Z, who also has produced a division math video game. The graphics is 3D, so it's very intriguing and captivating, and it has been very successful to the learner, which allows them to go to the next level. If the learner gets the wrong answer, monsters appear and they are prohibited from going to the next level. If the video game is used as a tool coupled with a specific pedagogy style, such as the Orion teaching model, the entire learning of math process could be enhanced. The mastery of multiplication would be fun, engaging, and completely interesting. The idea of learning using video technology should be diffused in everyday curriculum activities, according to Greenhow. The software application that will be used in this study is called, again, Time Z, and it's developed by the Big Brain Z company. The game starts off where the child finds himself in a dungeon and then has to work gradually through several doors, which each door presents a multiplication challenge. In order for them to go to the next level, they have to provide the correct answer. And there are approximately 2 to 12 levels. The three-dimensional look and feel allows the children to become completely engaged in the gaming process, as well as being an active learner. The bottom to the top per each multiplication problem requires every single problem to be solved correctly. Here's another picture of a child playing with the same type of multiplication problem. Distance learning principles state that appropriate pairing of technology with pedagogy, specific definition of measuring learning outcomes, course features are focused on content, collaboration, and communication using specific static and dynamic meta technologies, and the amount of time students engage in online course activities. Students should be placed in smaller learning groups, communicate to enhance the interactive process, and should keep the course content simple and modular. Student-led discussions should be encouraged at all times, and learning assessment strategies should be defined up front. Here's another picture of a child playing a video game in a group. Now, we did a SWOT analysis to determine the educational needs and solutions. And we found out that from the needs standpoint, learning to learn requires motivation. It helps to teach technology skills, demo, train, or perform the STEM applications. You should use social networking wherever possible to provide collaboration projects. Basically, what we're saying here with this particular research endeavor is that pairing the pedagogy skill and the technology should be blended, providing enhancement to the learning experience process for learners, according to Dewey. We are also trying to maintain a certain amount of funding so that we can enhance our tools in the video game and computer digital technology area. It promotes the STEM core requirement initiatives to improve the learning performance outcomes, and of course, certainly meets the demands of educating a diverse culture, since everyone can relate to video gaming. Plus, it actually does motivate students to want to learn and allows learning to be fun. It is so comforting to see children engaged in the learning process, but the smile of a child is also precious to see them learn. Thank you.